Hello everybody, today I wanted to talk about how legendaries should be handled in Generation 10. Now, I've had this idea for a while and I actually plan on making this video before Generation 9, but by the time that I was gonna actually get around to actually making this video, Generation 9 was already out, but I hadn't fully played through the thing, so I was like, maybe legendaries were handled this way and I just don't know, you know? But I wanted to talk about like the legendary Pokemon, not the box art legendaries, or rather the small legendaries like let's say Suicune and Entei. You know, the legendaries that aren't on the box covers and how they could be handled. Instead of just being sort of like just put into the game very forced, like in a very forced way, in like a portal or whatever in the Max 10 raid, you get the point. I don't even know if they're going to be implemented because so far the first DLC has come out and I don't think there's anything to do with that. I mean, it's not like I finished it, but I haven't heard anything about legendaries being able to be, you know, accessed. I would assume if they're gonna add in like be able to catch all the legendaries, whatever, or a lot of the legendaries in Generation 9, it's gonna be in the second DLC, but there aren't really too many signs pointing to it, but it's possible that it will be implemented in some way or another. But in any case, I want to talk about how they could be naturally implemented into the games, and so I'm sort of just marking this for Generation 10, right? Okay, so starting off, I'm really talking about sub-legendary Pokemon here. And let's say Articuno, Zapdos, Moltres, their Galarian forms had really good implementations in the DLC for Sword and Shield. I really like how they were added, how they were really just put into the game. And so I really think that other legendaries should be given that same treatment, that same approach into the games, right? So let's say the base forms of Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres. Let's say Articuno is like, again, in the Snowy Mountain, you know, I'm not really gonna go through them, actually, because I'm not really gonna be able to add that much. I mean, Zapdos could be like it could be a cool power plant or whatever. It's pretty out, like they do that a lot with Zapdos, but like it could be cool in like an open world setting, or the like Moltres. You know, again, a lot of these legendaries, like if they could have like their own locations, it would be really cool, like with Moltres and having like some type of fire location. I don't know, whatever, you get the point. Raikou, Entei, and Suicune. Let's start off with Suicune because that's the one that like I sort of just had the idea like from the very beginning. Like when I first thought of this video, it was because I was thinking of Suicune, and because Suicune has a lot to do with purifying water, things like that. So I was thinking, what if you sort of just encounter it in the wild, like maybe post-game or whatever, in an area that you may have explored, or maybe a new area, whatever, that originally was like had muggy lakes, whatever, like swamp area, and like you come again and you see that it's clear, and you talk to a town nearby or people in the area or whatever. Like hopefully we could get also just normal NPCs in the environment, just encountering the world, right? In Generation 10, am I asking for too much or whatever? Either way, imagine that they can share that some like randomly this like the water cleared up and they're trying to figure out these mysteries. You search for the source of this and then you encounter the whole Suicune, like being able to catch Suicune, you know. Then like a Pokemon like Entei could also have like a volcano type of thing, like its Dex entries even mentions that, right? Again, with like Raikou, for example, you could see like thunderclouds form in an area that you've been to, like after you beat the game or whatever, and you see like thunderstorms very unnaturally like forming. Like you could see like thunderclouds and whatever over a forest or whatever, and encounter Raikou. And then for the three Regis, I think they are already like handled pretty well. Puzzle, whatever, encounter them in their own little. I think it's pretty good. Latios and Latios have already gotten like their own like little islands in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. I think it could be cool though if like maybe you do like a race in the wild or whatever to like get them or something. I think that could be pretty cool. Uxie, Mesprit, and Azelf have their caves, but I think there could be a bit more with them, you know, like they all represent something with like willpower, mind, intelligence, resilience, I don't know, whatever they actually represent. I'm not so sure, I just think that's what they represent, right? Something like that. But like if they could have locations and just things to do and like the quest to get them being a bit more representative of what they represent, using represent a lot, I think that could be a pretty cool way to handle them. And again, it's not like I'm trying to say that this is like put in all legendary Pokemon into one game and give them all of these special things. I'm saying like just a selection, or just some maybe more than others, right? I'm just giving, let's say they were to put these few specific ones into the game and leave out some others. I'm just giving the entire selection so you have what to choose from, if that makes any sense. Then we have Heatran. It's like in a volcano. I think it's a pretty nice city. Like it's a post-game thing that you go adventure to. Pretty similar to what I want from Moltres and Entei and whatever. Pretty typical. I don't really know what else to do with all of the fire type Pokemon. Now, interestingly enough, Cresselia is apparently considered a legendary Pokemon, but Darkrai isn't, even though they're like sort of counterparts, I'm pretty sure. But in any case, like they could do a lot of unique things with it, no? Like a whole dream-like escape, like psychic fairy stuff, whatever that may mean. Only Terrakin and Virizion. I really love this trio. They're probably one of my favorites, and I think like some type of justice quest could really be good for them. I feel like a lot of the Pokemon movies could be a very good like starting point for how to handle all the legendary Pokemon, right? Like imagine like some type of quest with Keldeo, just some type of justice quest, whatever that means, right? They protect Pokemon from humans, I guess. So there could be some type of quest where the humans are trying to hunt Pokemon or whatever, and like I don't know, you're helping them. But you get the point. Tornadus, Thundurus, Landorus. One of the most memorable parts of the Pokemon Black and White anime for me is this little story segment in the like these mountains far away with Team Rocket, whatever, that focused on Tornadus, Thundurus, and Landorus. And I think it could be a really cool, like, just having like a completely separate island for them. Not that I would actually do that, but I think the way they were implemented in the original base games for Black and White is pretty good. There's just some things to do with the weather I think could be very nice. Titanol and Silvally, they're pretty much like, I don't know, the only thing I could think of is like some rescue mission from like, I don't know, people who got their hands on them, or maybe like they escaped from Aether Paradise, a foreign region, right? And they've come to escape in the wild, and now you have to track them back, and you just don't give it back and you keep them. I don't know, something like that, right? Now the Tapus, I don't really know what I would do for them, just like put them on an island and, I don't know, a separate island. That seems like a lot of effort. I'm keep on mentioning like separate locations. It would be really cool if they could do more separate locations for these type of things, especially if the next generation, like the next new Pokemon game, Generation 10, will get on a new upgraded like system or whatever. So yeah, if they could do that with all the new power, I don't know, whatever. It would be pretty cool if that could happen somehow though. I'm not really going to mention the Ultra Beasts. I think that's a bit too much, right? And I mean, you can sort of just imagine the locations in the Ultra Wormholes, but just with more personality and with like more like the place that they're in with more stuff to do, I guess. Like that type of atmosphere. That takes us all the way to Kufu and Urshifu, who were originally DLC for Sword and Shield. Wow, we got quite far. And they were originally pretty much just handed to us, but I think they're Pokedex entry. Let me just double check, right? Yeah, it inhabits the mountains of a distant region. I think would be so cool if we can like actually catch them in the mountains, like just training, like in the Pokemon Journeys, like this episode where they were trying to save the Ninetales from the mountains, and the Urshifu are on there, and it feels like the Urshifu just being there but naturally training by themselves. It could be so cool in like the wilderness with the snow and everything. I think it would be so cool to be able to catch them there, just like with them doing their own thing. There doesn't really even have to be so much of a story behind it. I'll just put them with other Regis, right? I think they're done pretty well. Glacier and Spectrier. This is excluding Calyrex, and I don't know, there was a quest to get them originally with the carrots in the entire situation. I don't know, I don't really know, other than them just like being in the wild in like their respective areas, like Glacier and snowy mountains, and Spectrier and like some spooky forest, whatever. Like I don't really know what else you could really do for them. And Amorous, same with the other trio, like just some cool grandiose thing, and like something similar to how they were handled in Black and White, whatever that would mean for an Amorous, right? Pochen, Chien-Pao, King-Lu, and Chi-Yu. I don't really know. Like again, it's really just about them being in like environments that represent them and being in the wild. That's cool enough on its own, right? So like Chien-Pao could be again in the snowy mountains, right? Snowy mountains are like, they have the like grandness about them that already helps its case for legendaries to reside in them. Ro-Chen, I don't know, I feel like they could just do pretty well in like, I don't know, dungeons, things like that, which they sort of already are, but like dungeons like so a bit more similar to the Snow Point area. I think that would be pretty cool. And then that brings us to Okidogi, Munkidori, and Pheasantipede, or Ogerpon. Quite honestly, I've not finished the DLC yet, the first DLC, so all I can really say for them is, I don't know, they already have a story behind them. I'm assuming for Okidogi, Munkidori, and Pheasantipede, right? I haven't encountered them yet in the DLC. I think for Ogerpon, and all of them, like, they could just get something, I don't know, some type of festival, small thing, little, like, area in a forest, and you could encounter, I don't know, you get the point. So while Mewtwo isn't a sub-legendary Pokemon, I still want to add him into the video anyways, because I want to put him into the thumbnail and I don't want to clickbait, so yeah, let's do it. So, Mewtwo, he's sort of just now shoved into a cave, and that's sort of the end of it, but I think it would be cool to get a continuation of the story with, like, the laboratory and stuff, and to, like, get, like, maybe some quests where the scientists maybe are chasing after Mewtwo, I don't know, just something, just some nice story. There should be something where, like, Mewtwo, I don't know, confronts them, I don't know, some type of conclusive story. I think that would be pretty cool. Then again, this wouldn't really be able to, like, be done in, like, many generations, like, it would sort of just have to be a one and done thing, so I don't know if they would want to do that, but I think it's a cool idea nonetheless. In any case, I want to know, what do you guys want from these legendary Pokemon? How would you want to see them implemented into games, into Generation 10? Because I'd love to know what you guys think, and what do you think of how I interpret them, that they could be put in. You get what I'm saying, right? Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a wonderful day. Bye!